These Emmy-winning talk show hosts not only play doctors on TV, they're the real thing. The doctors dispense helpful medical advice to millions of viewers every day. Dr. Jim Sears is the resident pediatrician who has a big heart for little people.
You come from a family of pediatricians. What led you to follow in your dad's footsteps?
Wow, I'm the oldest of 8 kids, so I had a lot of kids running around when I was younger, and I think that's kind of what I got used to, My dad made pediatrics look fun, and he sat me down when I was older, though, and said, I don't want to pressure you, don't want you to feel pressure into going into medicine, but I just want you to know that you're free to be any kind of baby doctor you want to be.
These days, Dr. Jim shares a pediatric practice with his father and brother in Southern California. From the basics of eating and sleeping to vaccine safety, Dr. Jim offers some tips to help little patients and their parents build healthier lives.
What can parents do to help their kids stay healthy and avoid obesity? It's such a problem these days.
Childhood obesity is a huge epidemic, and it's sad because I see it in my office, and every day, and it's the parents and the kids, and I think one of the biggest things parents can do is start early when the kids are first starting to eat foods. Just introduce them to healthy foods that you grow, fruits and vegetables, lean meats, things like that, and it's just a great way to build the tastes and the cravings of the kids if you give them good stuff.
So for parents who already have picky eaters, what's a good way to help them eat their fruits and veggies?
Wow, if they're picky eaters already, it's tougher. First, the kids need to see the parents doing it. You got to be a good example. So if you're eating carrots and beans and broccoli and all the good stuff, strawberries, blueberries, your kids are going to be more likely to do it. You can hide it. One of my favorite things is a smoothie. It looks and tastes like a milkshake, but there's other stuff in there they don't know about. Blueberries and strawberries. And you can put pretty much anything in the smoothie, and your child will usually drink it.
There's been heavy debate over the safety of vaccines. What's your take on that for vaccines in children?
Vaccines are a hugely controversial topic. There's a lot that we do know, and there's a lot that we don't know. What we do know is over the years, vaccines have done a lot of good. And I think there's been a lot of overreaction. So one of my goals as a pediatrician is to educate the parents, and kind of see what their fears are. What are you exactly afraid of? Is it reaction to this vaccine, that vaccine? Has anything ever happened to your other children? Kind of really look at the individual and then come up with a plan. If this parent is going to be resistant to the full vaccine schedule, I say, well, okay, I don't want you to do none because that's not good. So let's figure out which ones you are comfortable with doing, and then we'll start working on the other ones. But I think it's important for kids to eventually get all the vaccines out there because, I hate to see kids getting sick.
What's one of the most common questions moms and dads are asking you on the show these days?
Probably the most common question I get has to do with sleep. Whether it's not sleeping too much, can't get them back to sleep after they wake up. So we could do a whole show, almost a whole series on just sleep with kids and teenagers and babies and the whole thing.
Why is it important for parents to urge their teenagers to take a nap during the day?
I have 2 teenagers myself, and they don't get enough sleep. The vast majority of kids, of teenagers in this country aren't sleeping enough. And it's important because their brains are still developing. It's important for their immune system and their schoolwork and their growth. So being sleep deprived, really, it's more than just being tired. You don't grow.
The doctors recently collaborated on a book, The Doctor's 5-Minute Health Fixes. In it, Dr. Jim shares advice he's gained through years of practicing medicine and being a dad.
You come across as a really strong family man. What's the greatest lesson you've learned as a dad?
Wow. It's going to make me tear up a little bit, but my daughter's senior in high school. She's graduating, going to go off out of state for college, and what I'm most happy about what I did, looking back the last 17 years, I'm glad I didn't spend more time in the office. I'm glad I took those lunches off. I'm glad I drove them to school. I'm glad I finished my office early so that I could pick them up from school. I'm glad I spent more time with them instead of more time in the office.